picks or?
Okay. Well, I mean, okay. So here's the second map was Delta, and he did the same thing sort of,
Yeah.
except it wasn't really the same thing because he went for the okay, he went for like a Marine, but mostly Hellion and Marauder push very quickly,
Yeah.
and you know, I held it off and then started going mutas, and I really like wasn't in the worst shape. You know, he was able to expand pretty freely after that, and I'd taken my third, but I think at some point I just lost some units carelessly, or yeah, I don't know. It
Hmm.
just sucked.
So
I was pretty
it
like
just
upset with that and
right.
thinking, wow, this dude keeps doing these odd rush, you know, these odd pushes
Mm-hmm.
that I'm just not like. Good players don't. I don't know. Like they
You,
the
like,
thing
do you
is,
feel they
Terran has
were?
two sides. Like one side is that you play the real way, which
Mm-hmm.
is like Marine tank and some other things, you know, like mixing in Thors and trying to do drops.
Yeah.
That's like legit, okay,
Mm-hmm.
but it's hard to play. Like
Right.
it's hard to do.
Right.
But if you're fucking not that great with Terran, you can pretty easily just do an odd all in with weird units and it works, you know? Like it's
Yeah.
just gonna you know, I had too many lings and the Marauders end up absorbing the lings damage for a long time while the
Right.
other units kill them.
Mm-hmm.
And that was basically, you know, that sucked, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah. I
Anyway,
mean,
game 3 was on Zelnaga and I had thought about, you know, how to fucking deal with this shit.
this is not 2 out of 3. This is 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
And um I went for fast expand into Roach, and then had Ling Speed and Lair coming a little like well the Lair came a little later than usual, and I only made like 5 Roaches,
Mm-hmm.
but he went for Hellions, and it basically was like perfect timing for me. Totally negated his harass. I mean, he maybe flew in with 5 Hellions and killed like 8 drones or something, which pretty bad for him, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Considering the investment, you got to get Blue Flame and all that shit.
Right.
Um, and then I just switched up from there, went into like mass muta, a lot of harassment in his main. He tried to turtle and take the gold, but just, you know, eventually I maxed out
Yeah. Okay.
and had like four or 5 bases.
And he
And
had how many? Two?
he had 3.
3 bases. Do you?
But I mean,
Yeah.
but I erased his main at some point. Like I was able to use mutas to just kind of wipe it out.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that was great. And then the next map was Steps. And I'm like, wow, Steps, you know, that's
Yeah. That's a messed up map for you.
pretty messed up. So, you know, I'll do my best. You know, I know to expect a lot of things. And the funny thing is, I actually would rather play Steps than Lost Temple, which was the 5th map.
Really? Okay.
And versus
So.
Terran, at least.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So anyway, he did like a tank, Marauder, or mostly tank and Marine push on Steps. And the thing is, I was able to delay it and kind of go mutas with Baneling, break his push, and the game was over. But he turtled and just stayed in the game for like 30 minutes. Like it
So
was pretty much.
it was over. He just wouldn't. He would just.
He just
say,
wouldn't give up, you
Yeah.
know. And
Uh-huh.
I mean, whatever. But I wasn't like frustrated because I knew I had won, and I think I was exaggerating the situation by just not attacking. Like, come on,
Mhm.
dude, just leave, you know?
Yeah. No, it seemed
Yeah.
like because actually I was having Brian Santos and Busta text me and type me what's going on because I
Yeah.
wasn't there. So I wasn't there. So I was having them update me like, what's happening? Tell me what's happening. And he's like, well, Broom's expanding. Broom's expanding again. Broom's expanding. I'm like, oh, okay. So he's just kind of like, hello, like, let's go. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, and, you know, I felt really confident after that game because, I mean, honestly, like, I'm wrecking this dude at this point.
So
like,
now you kind of caught on and you're understanding how everything's going. What is it, 2-2 now?
2-2.
2-2.
You know, going to the final map, Lost Temple, and I'm expecting a Thor drop. Every good Terran is going to go for a Thor drop.
Yeah.
Um, my thought
Just
process on
a
defending
Thor
a Thor
drop to
drop,
stop your expansion, correct?
yes.
Okay.
You know, on the cliff, you Thor drop, you bring SCVs, and he bunkered with some Marines. You know, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty much like really hard to stop. And
Right. I mean, it's that's why that map is death, for ZVT
yeah,
sometimes. So.
I okay, the really key thing though is that I went for roaches to stop the Thor, which I honestly like. I feel like it'll work, but I don't have enough practice games
With that
doing it
situation.
successfully.
Yeah.
So it's one of these things where like it's theoretical whether
Mm-hmm.
it works. I've seen like some top zergs do it,
Right.
and you know, I mean, I wish it would work better for me, you know.
Yeah.
But basically, he did a little switch up in the Thor dropping build where he made a Viking or two before pumping out the medevac to drop.
Okay.
So like I'm going roaches, and the thing is, if I would have gone mutas, which is, you know, kind of a counter to the Thor drop, but not
Mm-hmm.
really. Like,
Right.
the timing is just so iffy, and they can drop your main and kind of wreck everything unless you have a ton of speedlings,
Yeah.
which hurts your econ to make. So, anyway, he did that, and as an adjustment, it kind of perfectly helped him versus what I was doing. And I just feel like it's one of these things where it's like random. Like this Terran wasn't great, but I mean he knew what he was doing, and I feel like he didn't do that as any sort of reaction to what I was doing.
Right. He was doing it just that's his thing he was gonna do, and it just kind of worked out.
Exactly. It just ended up lining up for him like as perfectly as possible.
Mm-hmm. So
You know,
when
and then he was
so
able to wipe out my expansion. He like massed Vikings after that, along with like Thors.
hmm.
Um, and you know, I mean, it didn't really matter once my expansion was gone. Uh, you know,
Yeah, I
that
mean
was it.
you're 1-to-1, and that's kind of an uphill battle for Zerg,
Hmm.
especially after losing an expansion. That hurts.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'll throw in that I got drop and was like trying to drop his main. He had a sloppy defense of one of my drops. But the problem is, every time I'm dropping, I'm losing like 5 overlords because they're going into his base and like the Vikings are killing them.
Yeah,
Um,
that's definitely a problem. Is like when Zerg drops, is that you're losing basically your supply depots if they take that out with your drop. So.
yeah.
Um,
So, you know, I think if I would have taken metal, I would have won the series
hmm.
easily. Like,
Right.
but it was just
Just how the cards laid out this time.
lack of preparation on my part. I don't know. I don't have enough experience versus variety. You know,
Yeah.
I
No,
definitely
that's
know what to do versus people who are like playing more normal. But when people switch things up, I'm still sort of at a loss
right. You still
sometimes
kind of
as
have
to
to.
what
I
like.
mean, well, I mean, in general, I mean, everyone's playing catch up. When someone throws someone a curveball, you gotta play catch up,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's just really hard if you don't, if you can't get inside the head of the other guy and be like, oh, okay, this is how he's thinking, or blah 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 blah. It's tough, especially if the other guy's crazy. I mean, you don't know. So.
Yeah, I mean, I wish there was a more well-rounded strategy.
Hmm.
You know, I feel like the real thing to do is go for faster mutas because of all the 2-racks pressure that Terrans do right now.
It's
Um,
yeah.
I'm usually not going for a layer until I keep one gas going, and basically I get ling speed, and then I get the layer. And when the layer starts, I get more gases running.
Yeah.
But like versus what this guy was doing, I mean, it would have been very perfect if I just immediately like double gassed
And they
and went for
went to
layer
muta.
faster than normal
Hmm.
into mutas rather than into like a baneling
Yeah.
thing.
I mean, he was obviously walled off, right?
Yeah.
So you couldn't really. I mean, unless you.
Well, I had some idea of what he was doing, but
Hmm.
I think
There's.
I don't know, man. He just had a very odd unit mix.
Hmm.
It was,